face, crypto faceless. I remain faceless. I remain nameless, guys. Back at it again. Go ahead, give me a like as usual. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe right now because I got another Zen update for you guys. We're going to be speaking about why people are mad at Zen for taking up space on their blockchain. We're also going to be speaking about the market going down like crazy. We'll get into all of that today. But first, let's get into the wider market as usual. We got BTC pretty much dumping. The altcoins are dumping. Should you be scared? This is what a lot of people are wondering. And I'm here to tell you, no, you should not be scared. This is so, like completely normal. We're supposed to have dumps in a bear market, really big dumps as well. Like what's consistent throughout every bear market? Why am I saying bear market? I mean bull market. What is consistent about every single bull market is we see 30% dumps, 40% dumps multiple times, guys. We're talking about 4 to 5 to 6 times, right? And we haven't even seen dumps like that in this bull cycle at all, right? What's even more normal is that we are supposed to see a dump right now pre-halving. We've been talking about this for months, guys. Well, not months, but weeks. We've been talking about the pre-halving dump, right? About a month ago, we were kind of like speculating, did we already have the pre-halving dump? And then now we can see that, it's happening right now. Pre-halving, the halving is only 6 days away. It's under a week. And the OGs know, man. The OGs who've been in this market know that, hey, the market hasn't even started yet. The bull market has not even started yet. I always say anything pre-halving is pre-season gains. Any gains that you make, it's like your reward for being early, right? I know a lot of you guys are probably new. It's your first cycle. You don't really understand. You probably don't know. Yeah, man. Pre-halving doesn't really mean much. It's always after the halving is when we see the crazy price action. That's when we see things go up. That's when we see like life-changing money. So do you have to be worried? The answer is no, you do not have to be worried. This is completely normal. This price action is completely normal. Now, we're seeing this dump happen right now. Now, what we expect to happen is to have the 4-year cycle, right? We always say, we don't believe in the mantra that this time is going to be different, right? The 4-year halving would dictate, or the 4-year cycle, sorry, would dictate that we have the pre-halving year 2024, right, going towards the end of the year. We see some crazy price action, right? And we also have the all-time high year, which is 2025. You can call that the blow off top year, the all-time high year, whatever you want to call it. That is when we see the final top in the price of Bitcoin. So if we follow that 4-year cycle, which we usually always follow, we still have so much time left in this bull market. You're not going to even remember this little dump right now. Like whatever happens pre-halving, like I always say, it's just pre-season gains, man. Pre-season price action doesn't matter. Okay. Now we did speak about possibly having that accelerated cycle, but what's happening right now is actually kind of solidifying that we're not going to get that accelerated cycle. And I won't say solidify because we don't really know. But what we were speaking about like a month ago was the fact that we passed the all-time high way too early. We got up to about $73,000 per Bitcoin, and that was pretty much what was that? That was a month ago, right? That was like 200 and something days way too early, right? So what usually happens is that we see a break in the price of the previous all-time high. We break through that months after the halving. Remember, the halving is only 6 days away, right? So we're still pre-halving. So usually we don't break that old all-time high until months after the halving, right? But what we saw right now, or a month ago, is that we broke it. Now, what we were saying back then was that maybe because we broke this old all-time high way too early, about 200 and something days early, we might see an accelerated Bitcoin cycle instead of seeing the 4-year cycle, right? But since we've been having this pullback, the past few weeks, we've been having this pullback, it's actually very, very, very healthy for the price. So you guys know price action for Bitcoin right now, or the past few weeks, has been pretty much in the 60,000 range. We did go above 69K up to 73K, but we got shot right back down. Every time we got up to 70K, we always got shot right back down into the 60s. So this price action, a lot of people are kind of annoyed by it. this huge resistance at the 70K level. But really, it's like super duper healthy for the market, right? We're kind of resetting things to the point where we can kind of like remove this idea of the accelerated cycle, and we can kind of lean in towards what we've always had, which is the 4 year cycle, right? And that's what we want. We want that 4 year cycle. We want to have full 2024 of price action. We want to have 2025 of crazy price action, right? We want to have a long bull run so that we can make tons and tons of gains. And that's what we're seeing right now. This consolidation in the price of Bitcoin, this dumpage or whatever you want to call it. Listen, don't FUD yourself out of your bags, man. You should not be selling pre-halving, man. I know some of you guys are probably new to the cycle. You should not be selling pre-halving. We are nowhere near sell time. We are nowhere near the time where you need to be selling in this market. Remember, the 4 year cycle dictates that this thing is not supposed to end until 2025, guys. We just started 2024, really, right? It's quarter 2, 2024, right? So, guys, make sure that you're not flooding yourself out of your bag, selling your crypto, doing anything, that you shouldn't be doing. Take caution, sit on your hands. You should be buying. This is a buying opportunity, right? To be honest, if you've got the dry powder, you should be buying right now, man. We talk about this. Human psychology is so crazy. When you go to the grocery store and you see half off, you go buy it. You know what I'm saying? You see people using coupons at the grocery store because they want a deal. You know what I'm saying? You go to the mall and you see, oh, it's a clearance sale. Oh, maybe the store's closing, 75% off everything. You go buy everything. In crypto, it's not the case. You see 50% off, you see 75% off, you see 25% off. People think, nope, it's going to zero. I'm not gonna buy. This thing is going to zero. All right, the human psychology is actually super crazy, man. And at the end of the day, this is a buying opportunity of a lifetime. Or you could be just sit on your hands, right? It's not a bad idea to sit on your hands, especially if you don't have the dry powder or the cash to get in. Sit on your hands. But what you should not be doing is selling right now, guys. It's kind of crazy. Do not sell right now. All right. Anyway, let's get into Zen. Let's see what's happening in the Zen community right now. We got blockchains, layer ones that are mad at Zen for taking up the block space in their blockchain. Right? It's actually crazy. Instead of fixing their blockchain, instead of making their blockchain better to where they actually, uh, can actually handle the protocols like Zen, they are complaining about protocols like Zen, calling it things like spam or spamming the network or whatever the case may be. So you got the guys from Base, being the Coinbase new layer 2 protocol called Base, complaining about Zen holding like 60 something percent of their block space, and they're all like up in arms and worried about it. And he did a whole Twitter thread about it. Even caught the attention of Jack, who was basically, in a nutshell saying, listen, you shouldn't be thinking about what you can do to get rid of a protocol that's taking up a lot of space in your blockchain. That's not decentralization, right? What you should be doing is thinking about how you can better your blockchain, how you can build it out better, how you can fix it, how you can, design it so it can manage protocols like this. You know what I mean? So a lot of these things. So let me just break it down. So basically, let's take a step back now. Jack put out Zen on every single blockchain. Okay. His idea was that let it launch on every single blockchain, let it break every single blockchain. And if we can get it to break the blockchains, we can actually see which blockchains are the best, right? We can actually get it, we can actually get to see, we can actually see which ones are kind of like the ones that can handle large, like a large amount of transactions. We can see which ones can handle you know, pretty much protocols like Zen. That's what he wanted to see. Which ones are good, which ones are bad. All right. From there, he picked the one that he wanted to fork, which is Phantom. That's the one that held up the best. And also making X1, tweaking it, adding the features that we want to add to it, inscriptions and AI and proof of work, proof of stake, and so many different things that we've added to it so far. But the idea was to figure out which one is the best, to stress test every single network. And if you remember, if you're, we're in Zen back in the day, talking about a year ago, year and a half ago, that, there were chains that literally did not react well to Zen. You had like Doge chain, which like actually banned Zen and is like, nah, we're not gonna allow that. It's like too much spam on the network, and they literally just banned it, right? You've got chains like was it OKX? Was it, I forget, I forgot which blockchain it was, but what they did was they their actual fees went up so much. They were meant to be this cheap blockchain, and their fees went up so much because they couldn't handle the, the Zen transactions, right? So a lot of blockchains actually crashed way in the beginning, and right now we're seeing that second phase with Base coming out complaining about, the fact that 60 something percent of their space is being taken on their blockchain, and that wasn't it. Now they're all coming out the woodworks. We had Evmos comment under that thread as well and say, it's not just you, Base, it's us as well, and other blockchains as well. Evmos was complaining about, a lot of their space being taken up by Zen, and calling it spam, and saying we need to have a discussion. What kind of discussion you want to have? Like, it's kind of crazy. What kind of discussion do you need to have? The only discussion that you need to have is how can you better and like fix your blockchain to make it work better, right? You can't have a discussion about how we can get rid of a protocol. That's not decentralization. It's not crypto, right? So a lot of these blockchains are actually going against the first principles, right? That's why Zen is so important. Follows first principles of decentralization. And these blockchains are not following that. They're actually looking for ways to be more centralized, to get rid of protocols that they don't like, that don't fit the network, right? That they're not prepared for, right? So, that's what's going on right now. And Jack came out, he tweeted at them, saying that that's not decentralization. Um, and he also mentioned on the on Telegram that a new utility. It's not a new utility, but it's kind of a new understanding of the utility for Zen, and this is very important. Now, so basically, we've always talked about what is the utility or the use case for Zen. On this channel, I always push, X1, right? Remember, Zen is the cash of the Zen ecosystem. The biggest project coming out right now is X1. The price of Zen should shoot up because of X1 coming out. You guys know one of the main ways to get into X1 is you have to buy and burn Zen, and get a burn record, and then you can use that to get into X1. And you guys know the spill, so I'm not going to go into that, but the price should go up because of X1. Now, what happens after X1? A lot of people have been speculating and asking about that. Like, what's the use case for Zen post X1 once it's launched and once it's out? What's the use case then? A lot of people want to know. And I actually have speculated on that in the past. I speculated that maybe it could be a thing where when X1 launches, X1 is going to have loads of different projects on X1, like DeFi projects, like NFT projects, like meme coins, and everything that we see on every other blockchain is also going to be on X1. So one thing that I speculated was that because we have this kind of ethos behind the Zen community, that we have the fair crypto ethos, following first principles, etc., 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 that maybe the first projects on X1 are probably going to use Zenburn to get an allocation in those projects, like the first DEX or the first DeFi or the first whatever, right? That was kind of like my speculation when it comes to that, and that could ring true. We don't know, but what Jack said, which is very profound and something I think that we need to lean into, what Jack said on Telegram is that really the utility behind X1 is owning space on the blockchain. He tweeted about this as well. I reposted it. I've been commenting lately about this on my Twitter account. Follow me on X at Calico Zone 6. Link in the description as usual. But yeah, so ownership of block space is the utility for Zen. Let that sink in. The utility for Zen is ownership on the blockchain. Now, here's the thing. When you buy Zen on any network, on any chain, you're buying space on that chain. You own that space. All right, you own that space, and they can never get that space back because you own that space on the blockchain. Now, you can call it bytes. So Jack and Telegram called it bytes, right? It's like immutable bytes, you can call it, or what I'm saying, you're buying and trading bytes or space on the blockchain. When you sell Zen, someone else buys your Zen, they're buying space on the blockchain that you own, that no one else owns. The network can't get it back. The blockchain can't get it back. It's yours, right? That's an extremely powerful use case for Zen. The fact that it is ownership of space on a blockchain, right? Jack even called it, I believe he said the utility is basically I forgot what he called it. I forgot what he called it. Basically, you're taking the resources of a blockchain in a nutshell. Like he had different wordings in Telegram, but basically, you're taking the resources um, of a blockchain, right? You're taking their resources, you're taking their space, and they can't get it back, right? That's what they're crying about right now. The guys at Evmos, the guys at Base, they're crying about that right now because they can't get their space back because Zen has taken it. A lot of these chains, believe it or not, they're ghost chains. A lot of these blockchains are ghost chains, and Zen is the only project taking up all of this space on their blockchains. Literally, go look it up. Go look at all the chain data. Go look at the on-chain data. You'll see that a lot of these chains are actually ghost chains. Zen is like the biggest network that's or protocol that's transacting on their network, taking up all of their space. And they get angry about it because they're like, what is this one protocol doing all this? They have to kind of like rethink how they're gonna design instead of like the crazy thing is a lot of them are not thinking about how they can fix their blockchain, but they're thinking about how they can get rid of a protocol, which goes against decentralization in crypto completely, right? It's actually really, really crazy. But the main thing for this episode, guys, is this. The utility going forward that we need to lean into as a community for Zen is it is ownership of space on the blockchain. That's what it is, right? People are going to want to trade back and forth ownership of space on the blockchain, right? Still, the cache of the Zen ecosystem, you can still use it to get into X1 and other projects like DBZen and other projects in the Zen ecosystem. But beyond that, a bigger use case is actually whenever you buy Zen on a blockchain, like for example, if you buy Zen on ETH, you own space on the Ethereum blockchain. If you buy Zen on Optimism, if you buy Zen on Avalanche, if you buy Zen on, Pulse Chain or any of the other blockchains that are, it's on every single blockchain, you own a piece of that blockchain. You own space on that blockchain. And you can trade that space with other people that want to trade space on blockchains, right? I mean, there's a whole market for this, guys. Think about how many projects came out trading space, people buying land, people buying property in the metaverse, people buying property on blockchain. This is the same thing, guys. You're buying space, the ownership, the title to ownership of space on the blockchain. Crazy, crazy, crazy narrative. That is the narrative that we need to push. It's the ultimate narrative for Zen going forward into the future, right? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know how you feel about that narrative. Let me know if you like it, if you disagree, if we should lean into that narrative as Jack is doing right now. In the comment section, guys. It is crypto faceless. I remain faceless. I remain nameless, guys. Back out. Take care.